He's coming around the bend here. This is it. This is a new 100k men's world record. Great job, Thomas! Yes, Alex! Yes! Yes!
We, as fans of the sport, we just want to see great performances. We've been lucky enough over the years to see some of our athletes on home soil and at champs races run just so inspiringly brilliant races from start to finish. Being able to take themselves to the absolute well. Mark Perkins' 12:04 back at Crawley, 7, 8 years ago was just one of the best sporting moments that I've ever seen. And it's a sporting moment that lasts for 7 hours as he's sort of making it happen. So we just want to see athletes running to the best of their ability and to have the chance to have the optimal conditions to run their best. Back in the 70s and 80s, particularly the 80s, this sort of stuff used to happen a lot more frequently with very small groups of athletes, particularly going for records. And historically, a lot of the record marks are still from those days because these type of events just haven't existed since. So we're trying to bring kind of the history of the sport back to the present day and offering these world-class athletes the chance to shoot for these times.
Yeah, well, obviously there was a world records set here last year by Sonia Sorokin, so I feel like that kind of approves the event as a great place to go for records.
Yeah, okay. We can begin, yeah? So, hello everyone, I'm Alexander Sorokin, I'm ultra runner, world record holder, 24 hours and 12 hours records. I tried tomorrow run faster one, 100 kilometers. I'm too slow to beat the record. I just to try to show my maximum. We'll see tomorrow.
And so I've wanted to come to this event the past couple years and just following it every year. I mean, there's not too many opportunities for an international level track ultra. And having James here, having the support, the volunteers, it just creates the atmosphere, and it's an IAU labeled event, so there's a lot of things that have to be in place to set world records, and so yeah, it's just a great place to do that.
Can I have everybody at the start, please, for the race, please? Everybody else after the track.
No, I think it's a desire to bring and we did this with the trail race initially, but what we're trying to do is bring the best components from all these different events that we've been to as runners or crew, sometimes as volunteers, but mainly as runner or crew, together in one melting pot to make it, possible in one place. And we do it with the trail events too. If you come to one of our trail hundreds, you'll see a blend of the best of the American races that I've had a chance to run and the best of the European races, and put it into one place. And I do think you need to have been to some of these events and experienced them as a runner or a crew person to get it. Otherwise, this is mental. 15 people, we're here, we've got a group of, even tonight, the night before the race, there's probably 25 people here setting up. There's 6 officials, there's 8 staff. It would seem absolutely pointless to anybody who wasn't a fan of the sport. Even the guy at the track here earlier was just like, I said to him, excited, some records could go. He goes, excited for who? And I'm just like, you totally don't get this, and that's fine. But for us, this is it. This is really exciting. Records could go.
On your mark.
I want to see the possible. Yeah, Alexander has a shot at breaking the 100k men's world record. That 6:09. That's 89 second laps, 5:56 a mile. That is just beyond comprehension for anybody, frankly. And he's put himself in a place where he can run that. Camille has obviously, like Alexander, cleaned up at 100 mile and 24 hour and 12 hour, but she knows she's got acres of improvement in that 100 mile, 12 hour mark. And I want to see her do that. These people are bringing those marks down for all time. These are unheard of. times. And then Dominika, coming across from Poland, she's one of the probably less than handful of female athletes in the world who can run with Camille, who can challenge Camille, who can push her. So I really hope we get a women's race tomorrow out of Dominika and Camille going for similar levels. Claudia came on the radar when, during the One Community Virtual Week, which was the end of May 2020, it was the first week here in the UK we were allowed out for more than, I can't remember, it was an hour a day or something. All of a sudden, this 100-mile time of 15 hours, 20 minutes went up on the leaderboard by a woman. And the British all-time mark was like 14:44. And I was like, hang on a minute, we better look at this. And it was a wheelchair athlete. It was Claudia, and we were just like, what? So I messaged her, and I was just like, wow, where has this come from? And she was just like, oh, I'm just, you know, basically experimenting with where I can take the sport.
I started going out for like runs in the morning, and the runs would get longer and longer, and it went from like, oh, I'll just do 10K, and then it was, I did 90K in a day. And then one of my friends who's done a lot of the Centurion running events before said, oh, posted about doing the virtual event, the One Love event. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh, I'll just do 100 miles. I'm doing like 90K a day, I'll just do 100 miles. And I didn't tell anyone. And I went out on the Monday, the first day, and just pushed the 100 miles in 2 80K sittings and just loved it. I just really enjoyed it. And then from there, that's how we kind of end up here, really.
My first 24-hour efforts were on the road, and then I tried a few on the track, and they went disastrously. The problem with the track is that it's a goldfish bowl, right? So mentally, you've got to be in such a good place, because if your race starts unraveling, everyone's watching it unravel. And then I found myself traveling to Desert Solstice in December. I traveled there 3 times, which is first weekend of December, Phoenix, so pretty hot in the afternoons, and I never got it right. But the atmosphere there is just so special. You get 25 athletes shooting for records. Camille ran her 24-hour record there, the first one. And everything's set up to make it as fast as it can possibly be. There's something really special about that. You feel kind of elevated as an athlete by that kind of environment where this really professional organisation, Arrow Viper, have set this, you know, event up just to be a record-setting opportunity, to literally maximise every opportunity to run as far as you can. So we've really tried to emulate that here. But there's some things the European scene's a little bit different to the US scene. So we tried to incorporate some of the US and European stuff together, to blend it together. And one of the best races we ever went to was in Albi, where I ran in the European Championships in 2016. And it was a 1K loop then, and it was a combination of a track loop and then some stuff outside on the road. And again, just absolutely incredible. Having the crews on the infield here is an echo of that, really, which you don't get in the States. So we kind of blending together the best of maybe 7 or 8 track races that I've competed in myself, basically.
Here, sit and stand, you see the whole race. You can see every single step. It's spectator sport. For example, in the 19th century, you just get hundreds of thousands of people coming to see the 6-day races. The 6-day races were like soap operas. People would come in first before work, see how they're getting on. Come in after work, and you get 4 or 5 pages at the front of major newspapers. Coverage, breakdown, because people got absorbed in it, and the personalities. You know, it's if you're going to develop ultra running as a spectator event for involving ordinary people, human interest, then the 6-day and trail race and track race are the way forward. Because if you're going to see something going off in the mountains, fine, but you can't see them.
You've got to be really mentally strong. You've got to be tough, I think. You've got to be able to ignore your ego. And I think that is the biggest barrier to success. Well, I think the biggest difference between the trail and the track is when you have that inevitable low patch, if you're on the trail, you're often by yourself for quite, you know, leading a race or being competitive as everyone here will be, you're on your own and you can totally hide. You know, you hike a bit, throw up a bit, you know, take your time. You can see a headlamp coming from miles behind you. Nobody's watching it unravel. Whereas here, you're running a lap every, in Alexander's situation, 90 seconds, Camille's 110 seconds. Everyone's just watching it fall apart. And we see like the psychological impact of that. The runner who might be stronger earlier on and might be running a world record is getting unlapped by runners who are 30 miles behind them. But that act of getting unlapped really messes with their head. So psychologically, you need to be bulletproof. You need to kind of be able to switch off from everybody else the whole time. It's never really a race. There's been the odd one where you've got athletes coming down to the last few laps really pushing each other, but more often than not, it's just you against your perception of everybody else, if that makes sense.
Some guys find meditation and so on. I know that it will be painful. I know it will be hard. I just say for myself, in a few hours it will finish and everything will be okay. Just need to focus on running, try to escape from the pain. Yes, it's hard, but it's my choice.
For just what that is. My God, what a run. What a run.
5:39. Maxime, you must be over the moon. Harder than the 100 mile?
Alright, let's go.
Yeah, he's gonna give you a no! I said, he needs a no. I'll be the last one.
It's quite possible that.
Underline with selection this week.
Work out where you are in the
Oh, that's brilliant.
Can't believe it.
big movement in that mark as well.